when it comes to the order, one of the best things you can do with the order, if you're new in the pharmacy, put it up. Your pharmacist will then have to go in and send it back to you and or type it themselves. They don't want to do that. Do not just type what you think. Hey y'all, glad you came. I'm Monique. Welcome and welcome back. Today we're talking all about how to be a really good pharmacy technician or a really good certified pharmacy technician, right? So what does that even mean? What that means in the pharmacy technician world is like super tech. If you have worked in the pharmacy for some time, you probably have heard somebody joke about this, like, oh, such and such is a super tech, she or he knows everything, right? What they're referring to is someone who truly knows their way around the systems in the pharmacy, how to use the computer system, how to process insurance, how to fill prescriptions correctly every single time, how to make sure you're actually pulling the right medications every single time, and really cutting down on the amount of mistakes that you make, because the less mistakes that you make, if that even makes sense, then the more your pharmacist trusts you. And this relationship is much like a doctor and a nurse. If a nurse is very good at her job, then the doctor can trust her to make good, sound decisions for the patient. Well, the same thing with a pharmacist and a pharmacy technician. If you have a good pharmacy technician, a really good pharmacy technician, that pharmacist is going to be more trustworthy with you, and they're going to just enjoy working with you a lot more, and you with them, because you will have a relationship where they know you're not going to make a major mistake. Okay, so let's get into it and how we can do this. Number one, or the first section, is to know which system that you're working on, know the name of it, and know how to do a few things. Okay, so I'll talk about this in relation to retail on this video. If you all like this video enough, then I'll talk about hospital, but we'll just stick to retail in this video because most people watching this video probably work in retail or about to work in retail. So with retail, know your system, right? What that means is if you're working at, a community pharmacy, which is a pharmacy that is in your community that you drive past every day, they usually have a certain software they use to process prescriptions. When I say process, that means to scan them in, to type them, to verify them, and then to actually send them out to the patient, right? So everything is there. They have the leaflets, they have the bag, they have the medication, they have the label, all the things, okay? So whatever the name of that system is for your particular retail location, know the name of it and know a few things about it. Number one, know how to sign in. That's super easy, I know, but just know how to sign in. Number two, know how to enter a prescription either manually or know how to check the prescriptions or the data entry coming through faxes. So you need to know how to navigate to where you can actually type if that is part of your job description. I don't know how all pharmacies run. I know I work at a pharmacy where I don't always do data entry. That's not really what I do. And so depending on where you work, you'll have access to certain parts of the software, but most likely you're going to have access to the data entry if you're working in retail. You need to know how to navigate to that. Once you get there, you need to know how to actually read a prescription. So if you are typing prescriptions and you are not certified, meaning that you may not have studied all the different, editing me here, I meant to say abbreviations, such as QID, meaning 4 times a day, BID, twice daily, PRN, as needed, tablet, PO, by mouth, all these, different phrases that we use in pharmacy. You need to know those. That's how you're going to type a little bit faster. Now, I, for one, I can do data entry. I was never the fastest. There are people who are super fast, but, I was always good, right? And so there you have it. But you need to know how to type, like I said, how to get to data entry and how to type. So that way it won't slow you down. You don't need to be sitting there typing out every single word of the prescription, okay? So like, for instance, I'll give you an example. If a doctor sends in a prescription and it says, take 1 tablet by mouth BID, right? Or excuse me, take 1 tablet by mouth twice daily. That's what they want you to put on the prescription. So when you type in to the software, I'll put it on the screen so you can see it. You would put TK1T PO BID. Okay, so there might be variations of this, but this is shorthand. This is what that software is going to turn your sentence into, which is take one tablet by mouth twice daily. Okay. You also have like before meals, after meals, and different things like that. I think it's like QC. There's another one in there too. But you do have to know this stuff because this stuff is what helps you to type a little bit faster. So if you're in retail and you feel like you're being overwhelmed because you feel like you're not actually, working good enough or fast enough, or people are getting frustrated with you because you don't know what you're typing, take some time out to learn some of that pharmacy vocabulary, and even ask your pharmacist to get you a book. Maybe they can actually order you a book that actually has all those different things in them. Okay, that's what I want to say, guys. Abbreviations. You need to learn all of the pharmacy related abbreviations for typing prescriptions, okay? So we have the first thing, which is knowing how to sign in, knowing how to navigate your way to data entry, and knowing how to type what the doctor or nurse practitioner has written on the prescription, okay? Yes, learn that. The next thing you need to know how to do is how to make sure that you are picking the right medications in DC. Now, we're getting real deep because I'm training y'all basically. So this is one of those things where you will start to notice how the pharmacy works once you work in all the different territories of the pharmacy, like you work in data entry, you work in production, different things like that. What you're going to notice is that when you start to move around to actually filling prescriptions, you're going to get frustrated because if someone is typing in data entry and they do not know the NDC that you have on hand, that's going to stop your flow. Because now you have to go back over to a computer and then go back into the data entry and then change the NDC of the medication that you actually have in your hand. Wait for the pharmacist to go back through and verify and then send it back to you. That's a whole 20-minute process sometimes, especially if you're busy. So if you are in data entry, do your technician in filling a favor and just take that extra walk over to the medication station and just see which NDC you have. Or just be familiar, because if you're not, you're going to really stop the flow of how everything is going for the filler, the person who's in production, the person actually counting the pills, okay? So when you're in data entry, not only knowing how to read the prescriptions and knowing the abbreviations, but also knowing the correct NDC of the medication that you have. If you're watching this and you don't know what NDC stands for, that is basically a number that is on a bottle that identifies that particular bottle and that particular medication and how it looks, right? And how many is in there. So it's a whole thing. It's one of those things you should probably learn because it's probably going to be on your test if you become a certified pharmacy technician. But yeah, NDC numbers are a thing. They are important. And if you know them well and you are, efficient enough or you care enough to get up or to walk around the corner to see which, NDC you have in stock, it's going to make the fillers station a lot more easy, so they don't have to keep stopping and changing NDCs. And I know if y'all watching this and y'all work in pharmacy, y'all like, yes, because that is annoying. I know. Okay. So the next thing you want to know how to do when you're in data entries, we talked about typing abbreviations, making sure you're picking the right NDC. Also making sure to ask the pharmacist any questions that you might have about a prescription. Let's say that you can't read something or you can't make out what the medication says. Do not just type it. Do not just type what you think. Take some time to go to the pharmacist and ask them, what do you think this is? Yes, at first it might be annoying, it might be embarrassing, but you have to learn. Also, kind of take note of how doctors write, because most likely in your community, you're going to have the same physicians writing over and over again. Get used to the doctor's handwriting, and then also be sure to ask the pharmacist what they think it is, because again, this is a process that if you type it wrong, your pharmacist will then have to go in and send it back to you and or type it themselves. They don't want to do that. See, and that's not going to make you a really good technician, because now every time you send something through, it's wrong. So you don't want to do that. Okay, so ask questions. All right, be familiar with physicians as well. Next thing that you want to do once you come out of data entry, let's say you move into the order. So the order is a big deal. Inventory is a big deal. Not everyone working in the pharmacy will do inventory. Not everyone will order things. That's a whole different, like software sometimes, even when you're in pharmacy. You don't always work on the same software that you order on. So again, if you're watching this, you work in retail, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, when it comes to the order, one of the best things you can do with the order, if you're new in the pharmacy, put it up. That's it. Just put it up, because you may not be able to check it in. You may not be able to verify returns. You may not be able to do a lot of things with the order, but you can put it up. And so what that means is learning where stuff goes. And I know that you dread putting up the order because it's a lot of totes that come in. It's a lot of medications, I know. But if you develop a system of how you put up the order and you become fast at it, it will be easy to you. When it becomes easy to you, you get it done quicker and you move on to the next thing. Again, this is being a really good pharmacy technician because you know how to do your job. You make it your own. Own it, you guys. Like, make your job where you are your brand, the way that you do things, right? And so once you develop a system as to how to put the order up, like I said, that makes it faster for you. And then when you go to the next section, the filling section, you'll have what you need. So watch how this is all working together. Okay, we're going from data entry, we're going to putting up the order, and we're going to the filling station. So let's say now you're in filling station, but you haven't put up the order. So you know what's going to happen, right? You're going to start looking for medication that you can't find because it's in the totes because you didn't put it up. So I'm not saying to burn out or, do too much. I'm just saying to learn how to do things effectively your way and get your system that's going to help you so that you don't have to stop and then walk back over to those totes and start, going through the tote trying to find the medication that you're looking for. You don't want to do that. You see, if you got a system, then you know what's over there before you even walk over to the filling station. All right, so we're data entry, put up the order. Now we're going to the filling station. The filling station is where you're going to be counting the medications. You're going to be putting the labels on the boxes, all the things, right? Pouring the liquids in the bottles, okay? So in the filling station, this is where you do not want to be, I'm looking for the word. You want to be fast. And what I mean by fast is not like fast, like unreasonable, but you want to have some type of rhythm to the way that you're filling. So let's say you go to the filling station and you have literally 75 prescriptions on the counter, meaning you have 75 leaflets on the counter to fill. That may be super overwhelming. However, the first thing you need to do, if you have time to do this, if you have time, you need to put all of your leaflets in time order, okay? Because what's going to happen if you don't is that when people start coming to pick up their medication, you're going to be behind. So every time somebody comes to the front or to the drive-through, you're going to have to stop and then look through to find their stuff, right? But if you have it in time order and you have your waiters set to the side, then you know what you're doing and you know where to look. Like I said, develop a system, because now you don't want people coming over to your section and going through your stuff and then just leaving it all over the place. No. When I'm in the filling station, wherever I work, they know I have a system. So, I'm like, hey, these are the waiters. I have these in red totes. I already have that separated. Now, we're super busy, so I cannot fill them at this very moment. I'm working on it, but that's where they are. So if you're looking for them, look in that red tote, okay? And that will cut down on them asking you, hey, do you have this? Hey, can you get that? Hey. Because then you won't be able to fill anything because you just be stuck filling waiters. So yeah, get your leaflets in order, in time order, and get your waiters separate to the side, okay? That's my biggest tip for filling. And then just work. Just go. Just flow. Don't try to pick out the easy stuff. You can do that like towards the end. So let's say you have like 15 more left. Go ahead and pick out the easy stuff then. What I mean by easy stuff is like your albuterol inhalers and your Qvars and, different medications that are already prepackaged, Flonase, different things like that. Go ahead and get those out of there. The reason I say do it towards the end and not at the beginning. So you got 75, right? Don't go in there pulling out all the easy stuff. The reason I say that is because some of the easy stuff could belong to somebody who has multiple prescriptions. Now you're going to run into the problem where you have filled one of 5 prescriptions and not the other 4 because you don't know what's in your stack. So that's what I'm saying. Get your system together. Get it in order, time order, okay? Don't start filling the easy stuff until you get to the bottom of the stack. Also, make sure that people that have the same name are together. People in the same family are together. Let's say you have a mom come and she's in drive-through, but she has 3 kids, okay? Well, if they all have the same last name, which they may not, but if they do, guess what? You've already put your stuff in order. Your stuff is good to go. So when mom says, hey, my name is such and such, you're like, oh yeah, and I got the kids too. You're on it. You're a really good pharmacy technician. Really good, right? So that's the filling station. I'm trying to think of anything else I could give you tips on in the filling station. besides those things, those are the things that really make the biggest difference. If you guys are working in retail right now and you have some other questions for me about, how to do something, just let me know. But I think I've kind of covered some of the harder things that people have a hard time catching on to. They might see somebody working really efficiently and they're trying to figure out how. But if you watch people who work really good, you're going to see what they do. Learn from them, because I guarantee you when they come to work, they're not burnt out. It's a breeze to them because they have a system. So you get a system as well. And take your time, be patient with yourself. You're not going to get everything on the first week, on the first 2 weeks. It might take you, 2 months to kind of get your own rhythm of how you do things in the different sections that you're in, whether you're in data entry, you're in the filling station, or you're putting up the order, or you're putting up prescriptions when they're actually done, filing them away. So these are a few tips for you guys. Like I said, if you have any questions, let me know. All right. I will talk to you guys on the next upload.